Part 16. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 151. Mr. Kong, something bad has happened. Lao Song, Lao Jin, Xiao Xiao and Xiao Yin were all taken away by public officials for investigation. Pan Song reported anxiously, everyone who has anything to do with you has been taken away for investigation. Let's investigate. I'm afraid I'm the only one who hasn't been taken away yet. Zilla, the sound of the chair sliding made Kongji stand up in shock. Mr. Kong, Mr. Kong, Mr. Kong, are you listening? Pan Song shouted several times. When did it happen? In what name? Just now, the specific name will be kept confidential throughout the process. We will only know when the results come out. Pan Song hesitated and asked tentatively, you are not in the company, and I don't have a backbone here, so I'm looking for you again. Don't discuss things with others. Kongji was about to say something, but he paused when he said it, they don't know you are mine yet, so just stay calm and treat it as if it has nothing to do with me. If there is any situation in the company, we will report it as soon as possible. Tell me. Mr. Kong, what's going on with Director Ren? Do you want to call Director Ren? Pan Song suggested. Kongji hung up the phone, stood up and paced back and forth in the office. His eyes looked at the phone from time to time, hesitating whether to call that old guy Ren Hungru. If I had known this earlier, I shouldn't have listened to Ruan Fengru and should have taken action against that old guy earlier. How does the whole company view him now? Kongji didn't call that old guy Ren Hungru, but called Ren Suya. Ren Suya listened to his words the most, and she was the weak point of the old couple. If she wanted to break the current situation, she could only go to Ren Suya. However, as soon as the call was dialed, the prompt tone came that the phone was turned off. He didn't believe in evil and called twice in a row, but got the same result. Kongji took out another mobile phone and called Ruan Fengru. Ruan Fengru's voice was soft and weak. In the past, he would have noticed something strange about her immediately, but this time he didn't pay attention at all, and said in an abrupt tone, when will we start over there? Just these days, Ruan Fengru was keenly aware that something was wrong with him. What's wrong? Did something happen? That old guy drove all my people away and specially called public officials to take them away for investigation. In what name? I haven't received any news yet. What? Ruan Fengru was also shocked. She had a vague feeling before, and it really came true. We can't keep that old thing. Retsuji, don't worry, you still have Suya. Go and coax her. As long as she opens her mouth, the old couple will definitely compromise. I just called her phone and it was turned off. As soon as this matter was mentioned, Kongji's anger could not be contained. This time Suya went abroad, it must have been a plan that the old guy had arranged a long time ago, and he just didn't want her to be involved in the matter. I suspect that the old woman's illness was fake, and she was pretending it on purpose, deliberately delaying Ren Suya's return to the country. Kongji continued with a gloomy face, that old guy is clearing the way for his precious granddaughter. Well, it depends on whether he has the fate. He wanted to use this incident to tell everyone that he, Kongji, could never become the heir to the Yaxing group. At the same time, it was also telling him not to have such wishful thinking and to stop his thoughts. When it comes to ruthlessness, this old guy is still ruthless. For so many years, I have worked hard in the Ren family like a dog, kicking him away whenever I asked him to. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 152. Li Ji, from today on, you will start getting drunk, looking for opportunities to cause trouble, and stay in the police station for a few days. After that thing is done, you will come out. Ruan Fengru calmly began to plan. Yes, I understand. You should also be careful not to let anyone catch you, Kong Liji reminded. Don't worry, I will take my daughter out for a trip tomorrow to relax. After all, my daughter's spirit was destroyed, and it was reasonable to take her out to relax. Before hanging up the phone, Ruan Fengruo said again, Liji, this card should be cancelled. Understood. After the call ended, Kong Liji pulled out the phone card that had been used for a year and a half and flushed it directly into the sewer. Each phone card will not be used for more than 2 years. This time there is still half a year to 2 years. In the afternoon, Kong Liji received a unified email sent by the group. The content was very simple, notifying that several people who were taken away were investigated for infringing company assets and abusing their power for personal gain, so that employees should not panic. As soon as this email was sent out, Kong Liji clearly felt the eyes outside the office door looking at him. They were whispering outside, and even if you didn't listen, you knew what they were talking about. I told you at the beginning that Mr. Kong was exiled, but you didn't believe it. Now you see it, right? I didn't expect that he was the first to be exiled. Mr. Kong is really miserable. What's miserable? He can still work here and be our boss. Those who followed him before were miserable. If they didn't do well, they would have to stay in prison for several years. In the end, he was still benefiting from his wife. As soon as the office door opened, everyone shut up instantly. Kong Liji left the company with a gloomy face, and as soon as he left, everyone started talking again. That night, Kong Liji got drunk in a bar, had a conflict with someone, and was taken to the police station for detention. This news was not known until the next morning when she saw the message sent by Gao Ying. She sneered at the news that her cheap father was detained. This began to clear herself of suspicion. He was smart. He sent himself to the police station and let the public testify for him. Since he wanted to stay, he could stay. This was also a taste of what it was like to be in jail in advance. On the weekend, Ren Ran dressed up and followed his grandfather to the Kingsi Mountain cocktail party. The car they took was the low-key Phaeton sedan that the old man had always used. This time, the person who drove them was still Uncle Wang. The car slowly drove towards Kingsi Mountain Manor, and the road was winding all the way. After arriving at the cocktail party, Ren Ran took Ren Hungruo's hand and entered the venue. The bigwigs in the business world had long heard about the actions of the Yaxing group in the past few days. Now when they saw Ren Hungruo holding Ren Ran's hand and entering the venue, they understood his intention. After tonight, people in the upper class circles of High City will know that the Yaxing group will be inherited by Ren Ran. Kong Liji was completely kicked out. In addition to business matters, many people in the venue today began to inquire about Ren Ran's future partner. Many people began to make plans for Ren Ran. If their son married Ren Ran, it would be equivalent to adding a Yaxing group to their family, and their strength would definitely increase dramatically. Ren Hungruo sent away all those who coveted his granddaughter one by one. The cocktail party lasted until about 11 o'clock. Many people stayed to rest, but more people left overnight. After all, everyone was busy. Ren Ran and his grandson naturally did not stay overnight and went home that night. The Phaeton car stopped at the door, and Uncle Wang got out of the car and opened the door. Ren Ran and Ren Hungruo got in the car. The door closed, and the car slowly drove out of the manor and disappeared into the night. The person who was following in the dark watched the direction where the car left and whispered to the person in charge at the back. The target has left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 153. On the dark winding mountain road, looking into the distance, you can vaguely see the dim lights of the city. Ran lowered the car window, and the cool night breeze carried the refreshing breath of spring. Uncle Wang glanced behind him and said, "Little miss, you can't let the cool breeze blow in this spring for too long, it's easy to catch a cold." Ren Ran responded. "Today's winding mountain road is very quiet, there is not a car in front or behind, it is like a lonely traveler, walking lonely in the dark night." "Uncle Wang, has your son graduated from college this year?" "Yes, I graduated this year and now work in the capital." Speaking of his son, Uncle Wang smiled a little more on his face. "That's good. Brother Zai has always been smart and hard-working." Uncle Wang laughed. "Uncle Wang, I'm a little dizzy, please stop aside." "Okay." Uncle Wang slowed down the car, looked for a suitable parking spot, and stopped slowly. "Uncle Wang, turn out the lights." "Ah," Uncle Wang was confused, but he still followed her instructions and turned off the headlights. In an instant, the mountain road was completely dark, with only the moonlight above the head falling vaguely and hazily on the vast land. Not long after the stop, a car drove away from the car. When Uncle Wang saw the car and the license plate, he was slightly startled. He couldn't help but rub his eyes. When he wanted to see clearly, the car had already turned and drove out. His sight. "What's wrong with Uncle Wang?" Ren Ran asked. "Miss, I just saw a car with a license plate that seems to be the same as ours." Uncle Wang thought for a while and thought it was impossible. "Haha, maybe I'm just blind." Ren Ran smiled slightly. Ren Hungru was sitting in the car taking a rest. After all, he was old and could not compare to a young man like Ren Ran. "Little miss, are you still dizzy?" Uncle Wang asked with concern. "Much better." Uncle Wang glanced at the gentleman who was resting in the car and couldn't help but want to remind him that it was time to go back. But as a servant, it's hard to say much. At this moment, there was a huge rumble on the winding mountain road, which sounded like a car hitting a mountain wall. Uncle Wang was smart and realized that something might have happened down there. He couldn't help but think of the black car he saw ahead. The people watching at the foot of the mountain were holding night vision binoculars. After seeing the situation on the winding mountain road, they sent a signal to the commander behind. The car did not roll down the cliff and crashed into the mountain wall. The situation on the car is unknown. I didn't expect that this driver was so powerful, reacted so quickly, and made the most accurate response. If the other party hesitated for 2 more seconds, the result would be a fall down the mountain and death in a car accident. But the current result is not satisfactory to them. After a while, another group of people quietly headed towards the scene of the car accident. A man in a black hoodie came down the side of the mountain and walked directly to the scene of the car accident. He glanced at the driver, his head lying on the steering wheel, and bright red blood spilled from his head. "Is that driver still alive?" the man in the hoodie reported to the person on the other end of the headset. "Are you following the old rules?" "Well, don't worry about the other party for now. Let's see if the target person is dead." "Receive." The man ignored the driver for the time being and opened the door. However, the back seat was empty and the target person was not seen. The man in black frowned slightly. "Head, there is no one in the car." "No one?" "Yes." The man in black looked at the driver. There were bursts of rustling sounds coming from the headset, and at the same time, there was an urgent cry, "Get out! What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her." Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 154. Just as the man in black was about to leave, several figures suddenly rushed out of the darkness and surrounded him. He cursed, and a sinister look flashed in his eyes. He rushed over in the right direction, but he met a tough guy today. These people were hired by Ren Ran at a high price, and they were all ace soldiers who had just retired. In less than 3 minutes, the man in black was subdued. At the same time, the remote control person far away in Kingsi Mountain Villa was also subdued. In the dark car, Ren Hungru opened his eyes, and his wise and calm eyes looked at the place where the loud boom sound came from below the winding mountain road. Ren Ran raised his hand to check the time. It was almost over. The phone in his pocket rang. He looked down, calmly retracted his gaze, and looked at Uncle Wang. "Uncle Wang, let's go." Uncle Wang responded. The car ignited, slowly started, and drove down the mountain. In less than 3 minutes, the car lights shone on the scene of the car accident. This time, Uncle Wang clearly saw the license plate of the car, which was exactly the same as theirs. "Uncle Wang, stop the car." Ren Ran and Ren Hungru got out of the car at the same time and headed towards the scene of the accident. At the foot of the mountain, the sound of ambulances and sirens could be vaguely heard. She looked at the driver first and asked the man who was rescuing him, "How is he?" Before he could speak, the driver waved at Ren Ran, indicating that he was fine. "It's a small matter, I won't die. When I was racing before, I was injured more seriously than this." Seeing that he still had the energy to tease her, she knew that he was really fine. "I'm glad you're fine." She turned her head to look at the killer who was being suppressed. One of them lifted his hat, revealing an ordinary face, the type that would be annihilated immediately if put in a crowd. Uncle Wang exclaimed when he saw the man, "It's you." "Uncle Wang, do you know him?" Ren Ran looked at Uncle Wang in surprise. Ren Hungru also looked at him curiously. Uncle Wang pointed at the killer. "He is an employee of a Ford's shop near our mid-mountain villa area. He maintained our car a few days ago." Ren Ran took the stick from the soldier next to him, lifted the killer's chin, and met the guy's fierce eyes. "Curious, how much did you buy our 2 lives? Well, how much did the other party pay?" The killer didn't say anything. Ren Ran didn't care, but squatted down, approached him, and smiled. "Are you an orphan?" The killer still ignored him. Ren Ran continued, "You'd better pray that you are an orphan." The killer's expression finally changed slightly, very slightly. "I don't want to hurt innocent people, but if someone wants my life, I won't hold back. My life is almost gone, so kindness is unnecessary. Don't you think so?" The killer was silent. "You have 2 choices. The first choice is to protect your family. The second choice is to help me point out the mastermind behind the scenes so that I can find the right person." Ren Ran didn't expect him to compromise immediately, and stood up directly. At this time, the ambulance and police car had arrived. Several police officers got out of the car, and Gao Ying and Qin Quan arrived at the same time with several lawyers. Qin Quan accurately and clearly described the situation at the scene. When the police heard that there was a killer, they became particularly concerned. After knowing that these bodyguards were all veterans, they all admired and did not make things difficult. "Comrade police, please check the brake pads of the car." A responsible police officer began to check the vehicle, and finally got the result that the brake pads had been tampered with in advance. At the same time, at Kingsetian Manor, a housekeeper hurried into the suite and knocked on the door of the study. "Come in." The housekeeper stepped forward. "Mr. Fu, Ren Hungru's car had a car accident halfway up the mountain." Fu Hongzin leaned on the sofa, his expression indifferent. "How is he?" "He took another car, and he was fine, but the other party's bodyguard caught a killer, and the car was also found by the police, and the brake pads were tampered with." Fu Hongzin's indifferent expression disappeared in an instant, his brows tightened, and after a while, he sneered. "Good job. You dare to use me. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her." Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 155. If nothing else, the police will find him soon. When the police come, tell them I'm taking a rest. Okay, the butler promised. That night, news came out about Ren Hungru's car accident. The specific content was kept confidential. Ruan Fengru, mother and daughter, who were traveling in the neighboring province, were resting in the resort. Ruan Fengruo kept walking back and forth in the room, looking at the mobile phone on the table from time to time. Knock knock knock. There was a knock on the door. Ruan Fengruo was worried and asked Kong Lian to open the door. The waiter pushed the dining cart into the room, placed it thoughtfully, and exited quietly. Kong Lian sat down and called to his mother, "Mom, come over and eat something. You haven't eaten all day today. You eat?" Kong Lian muttered that he was also hungry and ignored her. Just after taking a few bites, his face suddenly turned red, his hand was pinching his throat, and the other hand was reaching into his mouth, and his whole body was jumping on the spot in discomfort. Ruan Fengruo turned around and saw that her daughter was in trouble, so she hurried over and asked, "What's wrong with you?" Kong Lian pointed to her throat, and the feeling of suffocation made her burst into tears. Ruan Fengruo immediately walked up behind her, hugged her with both hands, and performed the Heimlich maneuver on her. After a while, the food stuck in his throat was spit out, and Kong Lian was finally able to breathe normally. "Mom, I almost died again." Kong Lian's body was trembling slightly. It is not safe to even have a meal now, and no one knows when danger will come. This feeling of being targeted by death makes Kong Lian no longer as bright as before. His whole person is depressed, his eye sockets are deep, and he is haggard. Ruan Fengruo gently patted and supported her. "No, you will be able to get rid of this fate soon." Kong Lian was tired from crying and didn't dare to eat anymore, so he went directly to his room to sleep. Ruan Fengruo was not sleepy at all. She was waiting for news. Not only him, but also Kong Lji, who was locked up in the police station, could not sleep, waiting for the final result. Once successful, Yaxing Group will be at their fingertips. Jingle bell. When the phone rang, Ruan Fengruo tensed up and picked up the phone. "Did it succeed?" Ruan Fengruo asked impatiently. "Successful." Ruan Fengruo was overjoyed, her tense nerves instantly relaxed, and a relieved smile appeared on her lips. The next second, she saw the news that the chairman of Yaxing Group and his granddaughter Ren Ren were in a car accident. It only said that there was a car accident, but did not include the specific circumstances. Finally dead. Ruan Fengruo sat relaxedly on the sofa, took a look at the food on the table, got up in a good mood, and ordered room service. Within half an hour, Ruan Fengruo was drinking red wine, eating seafood, and admiring the night view. She has never seen a more beautiful moonlight than today. When Kong Lian came out of the room, he saw that his mother was in a good mood and asked hurriedly, "Mom, was it successful?" Ruan Fengruo smiled and nodded. "Does that mean Dad can take over the Yaxing Group?" "Certainly. As long as that old guy Ren Hungruo is gone, it will be easy to control the mother and daughter. Then will I be the little princess of Yaxing Group from now on?" "Certainly." Kong Lian jumped up excitedly and hugged her. "Mom, can I not die anymore? The fortune teller said that she would not live to be 20. Why can't she live to be 20 years old? Why should she live to be 100 years old? My daughter is destined to be rich and powerful." Ruan Fengruo stroked her head lovingly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 156. We have to pick up your father tomorrow. Okay. Kong Lian was very excited. She had already started to imagine going back to High City to take back her castle, status, and title. Ren Ren, you bitch, just wait for me. I want you to lick my shoes. That night, the mother and daughter slept very well. Even though they slept very late yesterday and got up very early today, they were very energetic. The two took the high-speed rail to Handong province, and they already knew the police station where Kong Lji was temporarily detained. When they arrived at the police station, it was already around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The mother and daughter did not eat, but prepared to wait for Konglji to come out and celebrate together and have a big meal. Konglji, who was in the detention center at this time, had a scruffy beard, wrinkled clothes, and looked haggard. He had no elite aristocratic temperament at all. This is Handong province, and the news from High City has not spread here so quickly, not to mention that he is still in the detention center. Konglji, someone is here to pick you up. Konglji immediately stood up from the stool and asked impatiently, "Who is here to pick me up?" The police officer replied truthfully, "Your wife and daughter." Hearing the words wife and daughter, the light in Konglji's eyes suddenly went out. Didn't it work? The police officer saw that he was still standing there, and urged him impatiently, "Are you going to leave?" Konglji followed him out weakly. "Sign it and you can leave." Konglji signed and followed to the hall. When he saw Ruan Fengru and her daughter standing in the hall, his dim eyes instantly burst into light, the decadent atmosphere dissipated, and the whole person became energetic. Fengru, Konglji shouted excitedly. "Dad!" Konglian shouted excitedly. Konglji rushed forward and wanted to hug Ruan Fengru, but was slapped away by Ruan Fengru. Too eye-catching. Konglji knew she was cautious, so he didn't force her and took her hand to leave. After leaving the police station, Konglji couldn't help hugging his wife and daughter. Success, they finally succeeded. After more than 20 years of planning, they finally succeeded. Ruan Fengru struggled for a while, trying to make him restrain himself. "What are you afraid of? That old guy is dead." The mountain that weighed on him was finally gone, and he could finally be a man with dignity and hold his head high. "There is still an old guy here," Ruan Fengru reminded. "Although this is Handong province, far from Haishi, it is a good thing to keep a low profile. I have already arranged her script. She is too sad and falls into the water." "What do you think?" Konglji asked with a smile. "I think it is very good." Konglian nodded. They always considered the two old ones. As for Ren Suya, she was a naive person who posed no threat at all. Ren Ran, a high school student who had never even entered the company's gate and didn't know how many products the company was involved in, was even less to be feared. "Let's go celebrate." "It stinks." "Go wash up first." The family of three checked into a local 5-star hotel and directly booked a presidential suite. Ruan Fengru handed him a new mobile phone. "The card has been reissued for you. It's still the old number. The previous data backup is also in it. Later, you can turn on the phone and contact them." After Konglji washed up, the family of three went directly to the restaurant on the top floor of the hotel. The three of them talked and laughed, and it was very lively. At this time, several people in police uniforms walked into the restaurant. "What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her." Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 157. Konglji and his family of three were completely unaware of this, and they were still chatting happily, imagining a beautiful life in the future. "Dad, when you take over, I want a big yacht, and then let those who look down on me come and see it." She had been waiting to vent her anger for a long time. "Okay." Konglji smiled indulgently. The police officer at the door negotiated with the waiter of the restaurant and took them into the restaurant. The police officer walked in, looked around the diners dining in the restaurant, and soon saw Konglji and his family of three by the window. Someone took out a mobile phone, compared the photos, and walked over there. The diners around were a little surprised to see four police officers coming in and out, and their eyes followed them unconsciously. The whispers around and the approach of the police finally attracted the attention of the family of three. The three looked at the four police officers, and their hearts were as curious as other diners. When the four police officers stood in front of them, the smiles on the faces of the three froze for a moment. "Excuse me, what can I do for you?" Konglji spoke first. One of the police officers looked at Konglji. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Konglji?" "Yes, I am. There is something that needs your cooperation in the investigation." Ruan Fengruo said, "Comrade police officer, what is it?" The police officer looked at Ruan Fengruo and took a closer look. "Are you Ms. Ruan Fengruo?" Yes, Ruan Fengruo had a bad feeling. "That's great, please come back to the police station with us to assist in the investigation." Konglji and Ruan Fengruo looked at each other, feeling uneasy. "Excuse me, what is the investigation?" Konglji asked. "About the car accident of Ren Hongru and Ren Ran." Konglji showed a surprised look at the right time. "Car accident? When did it happen?" He explained with an apologetic look, "Sorry, I stayed in the police station for a few days because of some things, and I just got out today." The police officer nodded and said he understood. "It happened last night. I came here today to ask you two to help with the investigation." Kong Lian was unhappy. "What does their car accident have to do with my mother?" A police officer looked at the three people indifferently. "Are you sure you want to talk about it here?" The three people only then noticed that the diners around were looking here, listening with their ears perked up. "Okay, we will go back with you to assist in the investigation." Konglji stood up. He couldn't help but glance at Ruan Fengruo. Ruan Fengruo gave him a reassuring look. The couple was separated and taken to different police cars. Kong Lian wanted to follow, but the police officer didn't let her, so she could only take the car by herself. Ruan Fengruo was afraid that something might happen to her. Lian, you just stay in the hotel and wait for us to come back." "Okay." The two were taken to the police station and then handed over to the Haishi police. When the two sides handed over, Konglji and the others became more and more dissatisfied. "Konglji, Ruan Fengruo." The Haishi police confirmed their identities again. "Yes." "Excuse me, what happened to my father-in-law? Why did this matter involve me and her?" Konglji asked with an innocent face, eager for the truth. The police officer looked at Konglji and then at Ruan Fengruo, and his eyes seemed to be sneering, as if he saw through everything. This feeling made the two people more and more uneasy. "Your father-in-law and your daughter are fine for the time being." "What?" Konglji was surprised and soon realized that his attitude was wrong. "I mean, my daughter is also involved. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her." Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 158. Ruan Fengruo was also shocked, but she covered it up well and didn't show it. Impossible. How could Ren Hongruo still be alive? Are the police deceiving them? She couldn't help but look at Konglji, and her eyes met his. Konglji had anger in his eyes, but more disappointment. The police officer looked at him trying to cover up his crime and sneered in his heart. "You two are suspected of murder. You made a mistake." "How could we be suspected of murder?" Ruan Fengruo argued. "Whether it is a mistake or not, we will investigate it clearly. Please go." The two got on the police car to High City. They were not worried about the charge of murder. What shocked them most was that the old man Ren Hongruo was fine. Ruan Fengruo secretly hated that the other party had clearly told her that the mission had been completed, so why did such a mistake occur? She had many questions in her heart, but no one could answer them now. Now she could only pray, praying that although Ren Hongruo and Ren Ran were not dead, it was not much better than death. When they returned to Haishi, the two were taken to the interrogation room. "Tell me about the murder of Ren Hongruo and Ren Ran. How could Konglji admit it?" "Police comrade, Ren Hongruo is my father-in-law and treats me very well. How could I kill him? You must have made a mistake. Since we called you here, it is not for no reason. Give you a chance. Tell the truth. If you behave well, you can strive for a reduced sentence," a police officer kindly reminded. "You must have made a mistake." I have a good relationship with my father-in-law, so I can't do that. Good relationship, the police officer sneered. According to the information we have received, you have been kicked out of the Yaxing group, and all the confidants you cultivated before have been arrested or dismissed by Ren Hongruo. This relationship is not as good as you say. Konglji didn't want to get entangled in this matter. Since that's the case, I can't kill him. Wouldn't you? In the past, Ren Hongruo had been training you and intended to make you his successor. Seeing that he was about to retire, he kicked you away and replaced you with his granddaughter Ren Ran. You were unwilling to accept it, so you hired someone to kill Ren Hongruo and Ren Ran together. In this way, you can take over the Yaxing group naturally. Konglji didn't panic when he was hit on the heart, and his expression remained calm. No matter how well they talked, it was in vain. No one could convict him without evidence. Everything you are saying now is just your guess. When did you police solve cases based on guesses? If you can't produce evidence, I don't have time to chat with you here. Do you really think we can't produce evidence? One of the police officers said. Konglji was not panicked. He did not participate in this matter at all. It was all done by Ruan Fengru alone. Even if they produce evidence, it can't prove that he did it. Unless Ruan Fengru betrays him. Konglji is very confident about this. What is this? A police officer stood up and handed him a document. Tell me, what is this? Konglji was shocked when he saw the transfer between him and Ruan Fengru, but he quickly returned to normal. It's just an ordinary transfer. What does this mean? You really won't cry until you see the coffin. The police officer took out the second thing again. Take a good look. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 159. This is a chat record, a chat record that should not be here. Me, is everything done? Aru, already looking for someone. Me, this matter is related to our future. We must make sure everything is safe before we take action. Me, when will we do it? Aru, they will take action after the Kingsi Mountain reception. The brakes had been tampered with, and when they went down the mountain, it would appear that the car had lost control and rushed off the cliff. Me, tell the other party to confirm whether they are dead. It must be ensured that the old immortal dies if he is lucky enough not to die, then. Aru, understood. He only said the above content in the phone card that had been destroyed. They can get this chat record, which means. When he thought of that possibility, Konglji's breathing became difficult. Something seemed to be pinched tightly in his throat, and fear spread from the bottom of his heart. How could they possibly get that number? When was that number leaked? Whether it was accidentally leaked or revealed by Ruan Fengru, all words became pale and powerless in front of this chat record. Wrong. He grabbed the chat history again and checked it, and clearly saw that the screenshot of the chat interface was taken from his mobile phone, which meant that it was leaked from him. Could it be said that Ren Hongru already knew this? The thoughts in my mind were spinning rapidly, and I quickly thought of what happened in the past 6 months, and I roughly understood when it started. Half a year, fully half a year. This realization made all the blood fade from Konglji's face. Is there anything else you want to say? I have nothing to say. Konglji collapsed completely. Lost. He was still defeated by Ren Hongru's plan. I have a request. I want to meet him. I will convey your request to you, but I cannot guarantee whether the other party is willing to do so, the police officer said. On the other side, Ruan Fengru, like Konglji, refused to admit it. She also showed her alibi and stated that she had only recently been in contact with the Ren family. But when the police officer placed pieces of evidence in front of her, She quickly understood it with her intelligence. They had already failed. They are constantly being monitored. Ruan Fengru figured out the key and couldn't help but laugh lowly, laughing so hard that tears came out. No wonder, we couldn't succeed. No wonder my daughter couldn't do those things. It turned out that Ren Hongru was behind it. Ruan Fengru and Konglji were formally arrested by the police on charges of intentional murder and detained in a detention center, awaiting trial. Ren Suya, mother and daughter, had returned from abroad. They already knew about the frenzied murders of Konglji and Ruan Fengru. Dad, of course, you are too bold. What should we do if something happens? Ren Suya was very angry. Isn't that okay? Ren Hongru said with a smile. Ren Ran followed up and said, Mom, as long as my grandpa and I are here, nothing will happen. You see, we are not doing well. At this moment, the police conveyed the requests of Konglji and Ruan Fengru. Konglji wanted to see Ren Hongru, and Ruan Fengru wanted to see Ren Suya. Grandpa, do you want to see him? Ren Hongru raised his eyebrows. No, there's nothing to see. You can go meet him for a while for me. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 160. Good. Ren Ran smiled. The next day, Ren Ran and Ren Suya went to the detention center to see the two men. Of course, where is your grandpa? Konglji was a little disappointed that he didn't see the person he wanted to see, but he covered it up well. Grandpa doesn't want to see you. Konglji reached out to take her hand, but the distance between them made it impossible for him to touch her again. He looked sad. Of course, it was Dad who did something wrong this time. It was Dad who was confused. Ren Ran listened quietly and probably guessed what he wanted to do. Dad is so undeserving. He was deceived into doing such a wrong thing. Can you forgive Dad this time? Konglji looked at her with pleading eyes. If it was Dad, I would definitely forgive him. Ren Ran chuckled, but, are you? Konglji's pupils suddenly widened and he looked at her in disbelief. You know everything. Of course. Of course you have to know the dirty things you did. Konglji did not struggle with this issue. He knew all the chat records and knew other things. It was normal. I don't understand, your mother is so good to you, why do you still treat her like this? Do you really have no heart? Konglji's shocked mood slowly calmed down, and finally he looked at her coldly, his voice calm and cold, be good to me? Haha, no matter what I do, everyone will only say that I rely on my father-in-law, and I rely on my father-in-law wife. No one sees my efforts, no one thinks highly of me. In this family, I live like a dog without dignity. Don't you think I should hate her? Ren Ran almost laughed at his shamelessness. Don't tell me how pitiful and aggrieved you are. You came here for money from the beginning and deliberately planned to get close to my mother. You want dignity from me here. Your dignity, it was you who stepped under your feet, not my mother and grandpa. You are indeed a cruel person, Ren Ran said coldly every word. Konglji's face remained calm, but he licked his face and asked, of course, you have called me daddy for 18 years, and I have raised you for 18 years. For the sake of raising you for so many years, help daddy just one favor. You support me, Ren Ran smiled, your entire Kong family relies on my Ren family to support them. Why do you support me? Konglji choked again. For the first time, he felt his daughter's venomous tongue. He was both surprised and suppressed in anger. Of course, do you really want to be so heartless? It's not that I'm heartless, it's that you forced me to be heartless. This is the retribution you deserve. Ren Ran stood up and turned to leave. Staying in jail would be too much for him. On the other side, Ren Suya also met Ruan Fengru. Ren Suya just looked at her quietly without speaking, but Ruan Fengru spoke first. Don't you have anything else to ask? Ask? What's there to ask? Aren't you two deliberately trying to get close to me and plotting against my family? I probably did something evil in my previous life, so I met you two jackals and tigers in this life. Ruan Fengru smiled, you know everything? That's right, your dad knows it, you must know everything. Rensuya, do you know? How much I hate you. The first time I saw you, you stood on the stage with a sparkling look that attracted everyone's attention. Your family background and your conversation made me really envious and jealous. I think it would be great if I could replace you. I'm not as good as you in anything, but there is one thing that I beat you with. The person you love doesn't love you. He loves me. Every time I see you being fooled by us, I really feel a sense of accomplishment. Ruan Fengru smiled lowly. Rensuya held the hand holding the bag and squeezed it unconsciously. Obviously I'm only one step away from being able to replace you. Ruan Fengru's eyes were filled with hatred, and her devouring eyes seemed to devour the person in front of her. Rensuya looked at her coldly and uttered 4 words, you are so pitiful. She stood up and prepared to leave. Wait, Ruan Fengru stopped her. Rensuya stopped but did not turn around. Do you still remember when I lied to you about losing my virginity while drunk? Ruan Fengru said with a malicious smile on her lips. Actually, everything I said is true, but the hero is not me, but you. Rensuya turned around suddenly and glared at her. Do you want to know who slept with you that night?